everybody to TruExact show, and I got roped into doing this. I'm a busy man. I've recorded 3 albums in the last 3 months, and I'm working on mixing them with my friend Eva right now, but these 3 didn't seem to give a shit that I was busy, so they wanted to do an NFL draft recap and been bugging me. And even though my team and Sir's team are good and the draft is what it is at this point, I decided to throw a bone to the AFC's fans here. Nas, a Patriot fan, and Tim, a Jet fan. And you might be asking why I look so tan and burnt. 6 hours of basketball in 2 days. Nas played with us. The key to looking young, Coke Zeros, and napping at the right time. Let's get into this here. Tim, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. Hey, 3 more months until the preseason. I'm ready. And we got a white cornerback in the NFL, so things are looking up for the white team in that Madden game.
Boy, that came off pretty weird, Tim, not gonna lie, but I don't mind it. Hey, why are you so rushed into football here, man? We got the Orioles who are in first place with the Yanks. Like, finally you got baseball for you, you know? So why are you in a rush? Why are you in a rush?
It for the first time in like my whole life, I'm actually a fan of good teams, and I don't know how to act about it. I'm used to just getting shit on all the time. Now I got the O's, the Rangers, the Knicks, all playoff teams right now. It's an exciting time to be your boy.
It is, and your dog is adorable in the background. Yeah. Nas, how you feeling about the Patriots here? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I mean, at this point, what else could you ask for? Like,
a winning season, maybe a Super Bowl again. You know,
Bill Belichick back.
Sir, you and I, it is what it is. We've had boring years the last couple of years. Our teams are usually on the back end of the draft, so you just see who they pick. How you doing though? Regardless, are you over the Super Bowl loss yet?
Hell no. But it was, my team finally had a first round pick this year. We haven't had one in a couple of years, so it was actually nice to actually watch and see what they do. So,
and also too, we didn't do a Super Bowl recap show, I don't believe, but you did call kicking would be the most important thing. Jake Moody is an X factor, and he missed the big extra point. You weren't wrong about that.
Yeah, I know my squad. I know what it comes down to. But
even though he did kick a record field goal that game, right?
No, he did all right. If it doesn't get blocked, different story. But hey, it's all right.
Another year, another heartbreak for Sir. All right, let's move in.
Used to it. Yeah.
We're going to go to the AFC East Patriot fan here because he was probably the only fan here who needed a quarterback. Honestly, even when they drafted Mac Jones, I didn't like him. I don't think anyone here really thought highly of him. So we knew this would be coming in about 3 years when the contract was up. So Nas, you're a young Patriot fan. We don't feel bad for you at all. All of us are happy you're going through hell right now. But who did you want, and are you okay with who they got?
I wanted Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
I wanted Jaden Daniels because I wanted like a new. Well, we got Gerard Mayo, so I wanted like a new persona in New England. Like, let's run option. Let's run
like that.
Like, you understand what I'm saying? I wanted something new, but I had to be satisfied with what we got because Caleb Williams went 1, Jaden Daniels went 2, and Drake May, I guess, is the best next possible thing that was on the board. So we had to go Drake May. I have mixed emotions about him. I mean, one thing I like about it, he's 6'4", 230. He has a cannon, good arm. His just athleticism really just bothers me a little bit. And everybody's comparing him to Josh Allen. And I'm like, all right, come on. But
you also have to realize, Nas, a lot of these people who make these picks are idiots. And I feel like they don't watch college football as much as fans actually watch college football. I honestly don't. I honestly feel that. So you have every right to be skeptical, though. But you gotta roll with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I mean, I watched a couple North Carolina games, not because I knew we were drafting Drake May, just because it's college football. He looked all right. I mean, he's not terrible. So we just gotta see what happens.
You also never know either. Personally, and we'll get to this. Aside, obviously, Caleb Williams probably had the most upside to him. I didn't really like any quarterback in the draft personally. I'm happy. I would have been upset if this was the year my team needed one, but I could be wrong. You just saw it. I think teams reached a bit. And we'll get to that too. But Tim, how'd you feel about fleecing the Vikings for the 1 pick just moving up one spot.
If the Vikings didn't move up, maybe somebody else was going to trade with the Jets and go up for JJ. I don't know. I'm in the same boat as you. I'm glad that we didn't need a quarterback in this draft. All the quarterbacks, and goddamn, they took a lot of them in the first round. Yeah. I just don't. I don't know. Just too many failed. I got PTSD with taking a quarterback in the first round, being a Jets fan. So I don't know. I'll be happy with Rodgers this year, and we helped him out, got him another lineman. So we'll see.
Yeah, sir. How did you feel about the quarterbacks first three? Do you think they went in the right order?
I guess. As I said, outside of Caleb, I didn't really like any of the other quarterbacks out there. There was a few that were rated a little too high. I'm sure we'll get into that later on. But I guess the teams needed a quarterback, so they took one. So.
Yeah, and that's really what it boils down to. That's why when you got even a decent one, like my team does, it's you can't get rid of them. You can't get rid of them. Question. Whoa, shit. Question though, sir. Brock Purdy, is this his last year, correct? On the contract?
I believe. Yeah, I think next year. I think this year, next year. I think
what
they can't pay him this offseason. I guess with rules. So I think next year is when he'll get his payday.
Right. So what is your plan with the Niners? You think? Do you think that they're gonna sign him or do the same thing they did with him? Find someone else.
I think they're gonna pay him. The question is how much. I know John Lynch already came out and said if he could pay him this year, he'd pay him this year. But obviously he can. So they're gonna pay him. Just we'll see how much.
Right. Back around to Nas, because I do want to touch on the local teams here a little bit. The Giants were in a weird spot, Nas. Hey, you're not a fan of Daniel Jones. I don't think anyone here really is. Do you think Neighbors was a good pick, or should they have went quarterback?
Well, I seen something on Twitter that said they actually tried to trade up with the Patriots to get the third pick, but it was just no. The Patriots said flat out no. But Neighbors I think that's a good pick for him because I feel like the way they might not be good this year, but I feel like next year they'll be in content to get maybe they'll have a top 5 pick. I would say next year to get a quarterback. So maybe they're just trying to build that outside cast to for the
gotta
future.
Gotta be careful with that though, because now we see what the Jets did with Garrett Wilson, and now you're gonna have to pay him. So when you build from the outside in, it's tough to maintain those guys if you don't have the quarterback. Tim, Giants, go.
Yeah, I think they did exactly what they should have done. Take a wide receiver. I don't see anybody in that draft where they were going to pick that was going to be better than Daniel Jones is. You saw when Daniel Jones is healthy, he can manage a game, and now you give him a couple weapons to, this is his first real, could be a number 1 wide receiver that he's got to throw to. And, we'll see.
Right, sir.
They picked Daniel Jones over Saquon last year, so now you pay him all this money. You got to give him some weapons to play with. So, I think it was a good pick out of it because I felt like a lot of the quarterbacks were reached anyway. I feel like so if they were to take a quarterback, they just be added to the teams of teams that reached. So they give him a weapon and we'll see what he does.
I was hoping as a Cowboy fan that would have taken JJ McCarthy and made a huge mistake because that would have been as a Cowboy fan wow, they're setting their team back another 5-6 years because I don't not root for anybody. I hope they all do well. But there's just you watch college football and it's nothing jumps out at the page, jumps off the page with some of these guys. And Giants did do the right thing. The problem with the Giants is they screwed themselves in 2018. They when they took Saquon 2 overall and they thought Eli Manning still had juice left in the tank. It just we're on 7 years now, and this team still can't get back to where it was because of that one pick. And they sort of did the same thing with Daniel Jones the next year, taking him 6 instead of 13th or 14th where they could have picked. So the Giants, though, they got the playmaker. It's going to be hard to see them do well, but the Giants, when you don't pick them, they end up doing good. So every time they're not favored, they'll win 9 games. But here's the better question with the Giants, and I'll go to Tim for this, because Nas did bring this up at the court still one day. Let's say Daniel Jones plays the full year, and they go 9-8, and he has another playoff victory. if you're the Giants, do you fall for it again, or do you just cut ties? You know what I mean? Like, that's where they're in this conundrum.
Well, the last time he was playing for a contract, he played pretty damn well. So, hey, if they fall for it again, they fall for it again. If they keep building around him and the team is better as a whole, then I think they would be forced to stay with him, just like what happened last year.
Right. Nas.
I mean, they might have to draft a quarterback next year. They might have to honestly do what the Falcons just did. Because, okay, if he plays to this potential next year and then you fall for it again and then you're back to square one, like, what do you do? So I feel like they might have to, even if it's not a top quarterback, they might even have to get another quarterback on the roster that's capable of playing, because you can't depend on that, because obviously he hasn't been really dependable.
Yeah, on top of not playing well, like you said, the injuries too. Like, he really gets injured a lot. We'll get to that, though. I'm glad you touched on the Falcons, sir. Do you have that much of a problem with them taking Penix? Now, I'm just going to be frank and say that out of all these quarterbacks, that was the one I did not like. I watched some Washington games. I thought he was just a stiff quarterback. Like, I don't know. There's just something that I didn't see in him. What do you think about that pick?
I don't think it was the right pick, mainly because you just paid Kirk Cousins 4 years, $180 million. Now, if Kirk Cousins deserves that money, that's another topic. I don't think so, but we're not talking about him right now. But, like, you gave that quarterback all this money coming off injury, and now you go draft a quarterback who's been hurt the last, 4 years of each of his college career. So, like, you say, he'll sit on the bench and learn for 3 years. He's already, 23, 24?
24, yeah.
So he won't play. He won't see the field till he's 27.
Yeah.
And, you don't know what you have in him. I don't know. I don't think it was the right. Atlanta has a lot more holes than just a quarterback spot. So, they could have easily taken a day one starter at that spot instead of reaching for and go and get a quarterback, another one. So I don't think it was the right move. But
Tim, you're a fan of a team with some bad picks. Go.
There's something to be said about having a backup quarterback. As a Jets fan last year, it was very, very rough to watch as soon as your starter got hurt, and that's an old starter. And Kirk Cousins coming off an injury too, so who knows if he's going to be the healthiest going into the season. I personally, it looks bad when you just paid a quarterback. But having a solid backup, you saying you don't like what you saw on the film, well, obviously they liked it, and 3 other teams who tried to trade up into that spot to take them liked them. So I don't know that I could have particularly made the pick, but I can understand why they did it.
Right. Nas, what do you think?
I think I agree with Tim. I feel like maybe in that organization they thought, all right, Kirk Cousins coming off that injury. Now, what happens if he can't perform the way we just paid him to perform? So, and another question: who else were they going to get? Who else was first round worthy that they could have gotten that could have helped them?
That's a good question. I just feel like Sir said, though, there is more holes. The weird spot. You think teams are really trading up to get, like, he would have went early first, Tim, if they didn't take him at 8?
I think somebody would have moved into 8 to take him.
I guess
why not trade down, get more picks, and solidify your other holes? Because I said, quarterback. I mean, but they have other holes to fill.
Yeah, they were saying when we were watching the draft, they were saying that they really, really needed an edge rusher, and the top player on defense, edge rusher, was there staring them in the face. But there's something to be said about, having a quarterback in the NFL. You need QB to win. And that's why you saw 10 quarterbacks be taken in the first round, what it felt like, right?
Yeah.
Right. I felt like, too, with everyone kind of reached for QBs. Like, you even saw Bo Nix go, and that's another guy. Like, I mean, but listen, the Broncos have had a horrible history of drafting quarter. Like, absolutely hard. If it wasn't for their free agent signings with Peyton Manning, like, you'd be looking at maybe 20 years of bad quarterback play at this point in a row, right? Like, because even before, you had like Orton and who else is there? Cutler wasn't great there, so you're looking at Paxton Lynch. right? He
Winston.
was another one. My God.
Trevor Simeon.
Yeah, who actually threw 5 touchdown passes versus the Cowboys in 2017, because we haven't beat the Broncos since 1989 or something. We've lost like 8 straight, which is insane. I don't understand that. The Chiefs and Bills I want to get to, because it's like you don't see the Yankees trade with the Red Sox too much. You don't see like the Cowboys trade with the Giants, or trade picks if it's going to affect the other team. You have the Bills who can't get over the humps of the Chiefs, and the Chiefs, as far as I'm concerned, are still the class of the AFC until Mahomes retires. And they trade with the Chiefs so the Chiefs could get a receiver when the Bills just lost their receiver. Tim, make it make sense.
I can't make it make sense. That it's crazy.
Nas, make it make sense.
You can't. I mean, why would you go trade a pick with that's like
survival?
Yeah, basically. Like, that's why you can't get over the hump, and you just go help them.
It was insane. Sir, can you make sense of it?
No, I'm pretty sure if the Chiefs play the Bills and Worthy goes for like 150 yards, you're gonna be hearing about, hey man, you remember when they traded that pick? Like, you will hear about, like, why would you, like, I don't know. I wouldn't try to help them.
What I could say is maybe the Bills didn't see Worthy as a number one, because they did draft Keon Coleman the day after, and he's like 6'4", 6'5". He's more of a number one frame, where at least the Chiefs, I mean, Rashee Rice, we'll see if he plays this year, but he can kind of fill that number one role. I think he kind of did last year.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what the Bills thought. Worthy wasn't a number one. And it's been a lot of talk about Worthy. It's been like he's fast and all, but he doesn't have route running. So it's been like a lot of variables that maybe the Bills just didn't. But you shouldn't trade with them at the end of the day. But that's just what I think.
Yeah. The one thing I think was speed is like, yeah, he ran the fastest 40 time, but he was running it in a t-shirt and shorts. Man, put some pads on and put a helmet on and let's see how fast he can run. I'm not saying he's going to be slow.
He played well at Texas. He did.
Yeah, no, I understand you, but they're all saying, oh, he's the fastest 40 time in the combine. It's easy to run without pads on. I mean,
that's true.
Sir, I would love to see you in your 40 time. Just a heads up.
Hey, man, I'm saying, like, I'll be faster than Peyton Manning.
No, but at the end of the day, though, Nas, you said they didn't view him as a number one. I don't think it matters. You got Pat Mahomes. It really doesn't matter. Like, we got to get over this. And I know, like, I've been on this train for like 6 years now, and like, he's like when you used to plug in anyone for Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. It didn't fucking matter. You could put the guy from Old Dominion out there as Pat Mahomes is number one, and he's still gonna put up numbers because Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes.
The Bills didn't see Worthy as a number one. The Chiefs don't really care. He could be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
I just felt like,
yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't have even answered the call for them. I would have been like, "Fuck you, this is you." Hey, we're just calling you, remind we beat you again, and can we have your pick? Well, fuck you. Really quick too, I want to say the Cowboys. It looks like we haven't addressed our running back situation. Didn't have a running back last year. Pollard really underachieved. It looks like we drafted a whole offensive line, literally, like just linemen, which I have no problem with. I have to ask you guys a question because I have this theory. My theory is they're building this offensive line in anticipation that if they don't make the Super Bowl, they will let Dak go and let Trey Lance take over, and he'll have an established offensive line when he takes over. What do you think of that, Tim?
I could see it happening. And, you know, if you're building from the inside out, I guess it really doesn't matter who your running back is, right?
Yeah.
At this point, you're seeing running backs being taken in the second, third, fourth round that are producing at a high level because, you know, they're not going to be the every down back. You're splitting time as it is anyway. So, to be honest, the backup for the Cowboys last year looked better than Pollard did for the second half of the season. So if they're going by that small sample size, maybe they think they have their running back already.
Fair, sir. I'm sure you'll beat the Cowboys again this year. So go on.
But a lot of these running back by committees, like, you know, you come in fresh and you look at Tony Pollard when he was behind Zeke. He looked like a man, and then, you know, he gave him the main job, and well, the end looks so great. So running backs are, a lot of these running backs want to get paid, like Saquon, but you could find a good one in like the 4th, 5th, 6th round and still be okay.
Nah, as a known Dak hater, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's basically what you said. They're letting Dak play out this last year. I guess you just gotta prepare that offensive line for the youngster, the rookie, whoever you get next year. But I feel like if Dak, well, I shouldn't say Dak, if the Cowboys don't make the potential that they need to be, I think it's over. But
what's the potential though? Where are you saying?
At least NFC Championship, at least.
And what if they lose the NFC Championship 38-35? Then what do you do?
It depends how he plays.
What if he plays very well?
Then you'll be in the same predicament kind of as the Giants. Do you?
Except we have a good quarterback.
Okay, I'm saying not in the same predicament. I'm saying like, okay, if Daniel Jones plays good this year, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
You're still having the same decision to make, not necessarily the same situation.
Yeah.
Y'all talk about the Cowboys losing the NFC Championship. They got to make past the first round, first of all.
Listen, this team, I'm done. I'm not even watching the game. This year, I'm done. I was watching the draft, and when we had pick 29, we traded with the Lions. I said there was one guy I did not want. I won't say his name, but I said to my wife, I go, if we draft this guy, I am not watching a game this year.
I need you to say who that is.
No. And then
for science,
it's the guy that they drafted, isn't it?
No. And then I'll say this. They took a lineman. I go, oh, thank God. And I turned the TV off.
Oh, you know what? I know who you're talking about.
The next day I find out the Eagles draft him.
I knew you were talking about. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I can't wait till this guy lines up across from CeeDee Lamb because I want to see what the hell happens here. I'm very interested.
And what if he locks up CeeDee Lamb? How you gonna feel?
I'll eat crow. Listen, Tim touched on it. Let's just call it what it is. There hasn't been a white cornerback in the NFL, and you can look back. Jason Sehorn was probably overrated too. Like if you look back on it. We're going on 20 years, 25 years, bro. I don't know how to feel. I know it'll happen again eventually, but I don't know. Do you, sir, be honest. Come on. He lines up across from Deebo Samuel. Are you feeling confident as a Niner fan?
Hey, man, listen, first of all, these receivers are probably looking across like, man, I'm about to cook this dude. But hey, you know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, dude is what you're calling him. Okay.
If he owns,
they're saying something else, but you know what I mean? Like,
hey, if he does it, that would be impressive because there's a lot of doubters out there, including myself. Nas, you've been pretty high on Cooper DeJean, though. Honestly, you were talking that guy's pretty athletic, guy's pretty good at the courts. You were trying to talk me down.
No, Scott. I think I said I thought personally that Kool-Aid McKinstry was the best corner in this draft.
Right.
Can we talk about all-time favorite name? That dude.
But I mean, we'll see what happens. But like you say, if he lines up across from CeeDee Lamb, I know what CeeDee Lamb's thinking.
Right. Oh yeah, I know what you're thinking right now. This is what it is, man.
I got a question, sir. Is it trouble down there in San Fran? We go get the receiver from Florida at 32. Ayuk Debo on the trade block. What's going on?
I don't know that whole draft, bro. Like I don't know. I don't like what I'm hearing, bro. Oh,
just wondering.
No, it's like I know that they drafted him. I know like Ayuk wants to get paid, and rightfully so. Everybody wants to get their money, and then they got Debo in the books. So I don't know, man. Like. I'm not liking what I'm hearing, though, but...
Oh, I feel so bad for you.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Stop lying.
All right, nice 30 minutes here at the draft recap, though. Final thoughts. We're going to go around.
One more thing.
Go.
About quarterbacks. Like, I was told to stick this earlier. I don't understand the hype on J.J. McCarthy, bro. Like, why is he... You know what I'm saying? Like, he was what do you go, top 10? Or people were trading up for him? Yeah. I don't see what the hype was about, bro. Like...
This is what I think will happen. I think when Jim Harbaugh, when he took the job at the Chargers, he made the whole hype train. He sat down in the press conference and said, J.J. McCarthy was the best quarterback I've ever coached. Mm-hmm. Part of me feel like he said that because maybe he wanted to trade back from 5 and get some more capital to build that Chargers roster. That's what personally why I think he went and said that. Because if JJ McCarthy is the best coach and he had Kaepernick, who else did he have? You understand what I'm saying?
Alex Smith.
If he's saying that, teams are thinking, well, damn, like we can trade up.
He coached Andrew Luck in college.
Andrew Luck, yeah.
You see, we can trade up and maybe get 5 and get McCarthy because he's saying he's the best quarterback he's ever coached, and they can probably build more capital. That's just my opinion. That's what I think.
You're probably right, Nas, because the quarterbacks we just named, it proves that Harbaugh is full of shit. Like, seriously. You coach Andrew Luck.
JJ McCarthy, the best one ever.
So we have the number 5 pick. If anyone would like to trade up,
because he wasn't even in like the 3. He wasn't. You understand what I'm saying? That's personally my opinion.
Yeah. Kind of happy that Jason Bean went to the Colts as an undrafted free agent from Kansas. I think that guy has a lot of upside. It's my Jordan Love of this draft. If you hear his name 3 years from now, making noise. Rewind this tape here. All right,
I'm sure you will remind us if he does.
100% will remind him.
Yeah, you bring up Jordan Love every fucking time we're on here.
Remember the name Javon Baker out of UCF.
Okay,
just remember that name.
Okay. I will when he fucking is out of the league next year. Hey Nas, what happened to this guy?
Remember the name.
All right, so let's go around here. I want to know what you think your team's gonna do before this season kicks off. Everyone have a great summer. And I want to know your Super Bowl picks. Your way too early Super Bowl picks. Sir, I'm going to start with you. And I don't want you to pick the Niners. I want you to pick another team. All right? Who aside from the Niners you think will get there? But go on.
No, but why can't I pick my boys?
Because you don't like doing it and you don't want to jinx them. I'm giving you an out. Outside of them, the Detroit Lions, man, they've been making some hay. So okay.
I will tell Sharice you said that, sir. You want some brownie points?
I'm just saying, they say Brown got his money, so he's happy for a little while. And hey, man, they got a young little team. This should be all right.
All right, sir. Who are they playing though? Who are the Lions playing?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to write up that Mahomes fella.
It's so hard too. So I'm gonna pencil you in for the Lions and Chiefs. And what are you thinking your Niners will do this year? What's their record?
Oh, I think they'll be all right. I'm saying record. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, hopefully more wins than losses.
You're the worst. All right.
I'm not trying to jinx. What do you want me to say? Oh, they're gonna go 17. No, stop it.
No, because that wouldn't be realistic. I'll give my opinion now.
Yeah, speaking of realistic, go ahead, Cowboy.
So there's a curse in the NFC East that no one's repeated as division champs in 20 years, and with the Eagles being 10-1 last year, and the curse rearing its head and then somehow blowing it. I don't think we're going to win the division. I think the Eagles will. I do think the Cowboys will be, once again, 12-5, right back where they were. I have a hard time seeing them once again get to an NFC championship. I think this is the last year for Dak and McCarthy. I hope I'm wrong. But everything's kind of stale right now. And I think they're going to give Trey Lance a shot. But which sucks because if Dak gets the market, he will have a job. And maybe the Giants pick him up. Who knows? That'd be very interesting. But Dak's a good guy. He's a good face of a franchise. He does everything right. He says everything right. And it's hard to find those people. And he's been there 9 years now. So, I mean, like I said, I've lucked out 17 years with Romo and Dak. I haven't had to worry about a quarterback. So hopefully if they do move on, it's good enough for me. Just make sure you find another one. I don't got to be Tim and go through 30 years of no quarterback. And here's another thing about drafting, though. Oddly enough, Romo, undrafted free agent, Dak, 4th round pick. Sometimes you get lucky with that shit. And I trust the Cowboys.
Excuse me, I got
it. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, but Trey Lance. Sometimes though, I trust the Cowboys with drafting. They do very well. Their whole team's built on the draft. They've had 15 players they've drafted that have made the Pro Bowl the last 10 seasons, which is very impressive. So Super Bowl pick, I'm going with the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love. And I'm gonna throw the wild card here. The Green Bay Packers versus the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers versus Jordan Love in the Super Bowl. Would that not be fucking incredible?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Scott, whatever you're smoking, can you share some with the rest of us?
The storyline
that's just
there.
Good.
The storyline there, and if Jordan Love beat him in a Super Bowl, God. So that's my pick, Packers Jets Super Bowl, which that phenomenal. I'm getting chills thinking about it right now.
Can I just say the NFC North, that's going to be a tough one because I like what the Bears are doing on the real though.
Yeah,
I know they got Caleb and they surrounded him with some weapons with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, and they drafted Aduze. Like, like they're building something out there.
They were good last year, bro. They ended good last year. They played tough. Yeah.
So the North is going to be a battle every game between like all those teams. Like, I mean, Minnesota, who knows? But like, I'm saying, but I'm saying it's going to be a battle out there.
Right, I agree. All right, Nas, how do you think the Pats will do? And then give me your Super Bowl prediction.
I think the Patriots will go. I'll say 8-9.
Wow.
I say this because half of the losses we had last year came to one-score touchdowns. Defense is getting back healthy. We're getting Judon back out there. We're getting Christian Gonzalez, the best corner in football, in my opinion. We're getting Marcus Jones back. And, hey, we don't know. Maybe Drake May. I think we go 8-9.
Question for you, though. Because, like, your coach last year was Mr. Belichick, who was known for his defense. He ain't there no more. So you think the defense is still going to play that style football? Because like he can coach the defense, he just can't coach anything else.
See, I think it'll be the same philosophy because we did hire Gerard Mayo, which was on the staff with Bill Belichick, played for Bill Belichick. So I think it'll be the same philosophy, just a different scheme.
Fair enough. Tim, you asked what I was smoking. With Nas saying they're gonna be 8-9. Maybe you want some of what he's smoking.
I'd listen, man. I got a donkey dollar saying that they don't win 6 games, let alone 8.
Beat the Jets twice. Beat the Jets twice.
Nas, what's your prediction for the Super Bowl?
If you say Patriots, I'm turning off, bro.
No.
We know where he's going with this. His boy Lamar.
Lamar Jackson. He's getting back. He's getting the Super Bowl. He just got Derrick Henry, so come on. We're gonna go Ravens versus. I like the Lions. I think the Lions, Ravens.
Never thought we'd have 2 Lions picks to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, guess what? You're about to get a third Lions pick because I have to.
Well, technically, mine was with an asterisk because God did
right. All right, Tim. First, tell us how your Jets are gonna do.
They are going to go 11-6 and make the playoffs as a wild card.
So you're thinking they're getting at the 5 seed. They'll probably play. Who's a shit team? Who's like the bad division? Probably the Texans or that division, probably. And then
Texans doing something out there.
Texans will mark my words right here. The Texans will be the team that falls off this year because everyone will be picking them. That is the hot team that is 1 year ahead, and they're gonna go 7-10.
No,
right here. Okay, right here. The Texans won't make the playoffs. I'll say that. They will not make the playoffs.
Really?
Tim's with me. I think Tim understands. Tim gets what I'm saying here.
They don't make the playoffs?
No, they don't make the playoffs. Tim, what do you think? You seem like you're agreeing with me.
Yeah. There's something about overhyping a team, and they seem to be in that ballpark. I mean, they did just, their receiving crew is going to be very, very good. It's just whether CJ keeps improving or
that sophomore slump. Yeah. You know how that stuff works, man.
Comes back down to earth.
Yeah.
And I have to pick my JTS Jets to make it out of the AFC. Yep. Jets Lions. It'll be an interesting Super Bowl at the sick household. So
we got all NFC North teams getting to the Super Bowl with an asterisk, of course. Any final thoughts? Are we ready for any final thoughts? Are we ready for the season? Are we going to do the show? Possibly. Deciding if I want to do that. I'm just a busy man, like I said. That being said, we're signing off. Tim, I'm going to give you the last words. Go.
JETS, Jets.
Bye, everybody.